All right, so assalamu alaikum. Welcome everybody. We're very honored today to have Zahra Hassan here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oops, wrong one. My screen, here we go. So hopefully, inshallah, you can see my screen. And here we go. So we're with the American AMCF. Uh, and today we have our Social Impact Accelerator, one of our educational webinars. And we're blessed to have Zahra Bokhari Hassan discuss boosting your nonprofit, free fundraising, and capacity building tools. Today's agenda is a brief welcome, intro to AMCF and Women's Giving Circle, speaker information, presentation, Q&A, a couple of our upcoming events, and then a brief survey. So welcome. About AMCF, our vision, our mission, our core values. Our core programs are for donors and nonprofits. We have donor advice funds, giving circles, endowments, leadership development. Our nonprofit team just compiled our Nonprofit Resource Center, which is a curated resources for nonprofits. So encourage you to check that out. And if you want to know more information about nonprofits or setting up something for your organization, please go ahead and reach out to nonprofitengage@amuslimcf.org. Our department is the Muslim Women's Giving Circle. Our purpose is to harness the power of American Muslim women through collective giving, combine and democratize our giving, amplify message of women-focused nonprofits, support women in nonprofit leadership, provide seamless big dollar donations to key organizations chosen by our members. So how it works, so you join as a member with a donation of $5 or more, become a voting member with a donation of $35 a month or $420 a year, nominate. Our members can each nominate one eligible organization for funding. The preference is for nonprofits serving or led by American Muslim women. Voting members determine the finalists and then the top 3 organizations that will be funded. So honored on our call today, we do have a couple of our voting members as well as representatives from Olive, which was one of our grantees last year. So thank you for joining us. Last year in the 2024 Giving Circle cycle, we did raise $15,000 collectively to thank you to all of our Giving Circle members. Our grantees were the Muslim Legal Fund of America, $7,500, Olive Community Services, $4,500, and Pillars of Peace out of New York City for $3,000. So we're honored to have awarded them unrestricted funds. To learn more and to join the 2025 Giving Circle cycle, we hope to have even more nominees and to collect more money to amplify the mission of these wonderful nonprofits. Please, there's our QR code and reach out for more information. Love to have you join us. And part of our option is not just to give money, but to give our time and treasure, providing really resources and connections and networks to these wonderful American Muslim organizations. And with that, we would like to welcome Zahra Bokhari Hassan. She is one of our Giving Circle Leadership Circle members. So we're honored to have her on our Leadership Circle as our advisory person and to start with boosting your nonprofit. Zahra brings over 15 years of dedicated experience in the philanthropic sector, specializing in strategic fundraising to support mission-driven organizations. In her current role at Candid, Zahra builds vital relationship with institutional funders to secure the resources that empower nonprofits with data, tools, and training. Previously, she provided fundraising expertise as a consultant for the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and World Food Programs USA. She also served as a program associate at the Greater Washington Community Foundation. She holds an MPA in Human Rights and Humanitarian Policy from Columbia University and a BA in Economics and Mathematics from NYU. Zahra's diverse experience highlights her commitment to advancing meaningful causes through strategic fundraising. So it's really our honor to have Zahra today. And I will stop sharing and I will let Zahra take the lead. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna get us started. Thank you for that very warm welcome. So I am a senior development manager at Candid. Candid is a nonprofit. We're all about data and we're a bunch of nerds. But we are a nonprofit, and so I also I like focus on our fundraising. So a lot of the resources that I'm going to share from Candid are things that I use myself, and I hope that they're going to be helpful for you. So what we do is we have a bunch of data on where foundations are making their grants, and our goal is to help nonprofits find funding and then also help foundations figure out where the gaps are in funding so that they can address key issues. And so really we just want to provide resources to the sector to help you do the great work that you do. Some of you might have already, we're a small group, so feel free to put in the chat if you have heard of Candid before, if you've used Candid before. We used to be Foundation Center and GuideStar. We merged about 6 years ago. So GuideStar had all the data on nonprofits and Foundation Center had all the data on foundations. So when we merged, we really became the place for data on all things social sector. So I'm going to share some resources that would be helpful. So I'm going to talk about some of the resources we have to build skills and knowledge, to increase your visibility in front of donors and find grants. So I'm going to start with building skills and knowledge. So Candid Learning is our hub for all things learning. It's where we have a bunch of free webinars, on-demand videos, resources for nonprofits. So we cover a wide range of issues, fundraising, management, proposal writing. Really, we go from like starting a nonprofit all the way through, you've been there for a while, you know what you're doing, and you just want to sharpen some skills. So not only do we have webinars, which are like the scheduled ones, you have to take time out. We also have on-demand videos, so it's really like choose your own adventure, learn on your own schedule. And then we have like bite-sized videos also that are like 3 to 10 minutes. You can learn a very specific skill. So we're really trying to meet our audiences where they are so that they can learn the things that they need to learn while they are on their busy journeys working in nonprofits. One of the things that I find very helpful on Candid Learning is we also have a bunch of sample documents, so you don't have to start from scratch. The scariest thing is like having to write a grant proposal with a blank page in front of you. So you can actually take a look at some of our sample proposals, letters of inquiry, cover letters, donor acknowledgement letters, so that you have some kind of template to follow when you go through them. The virtual library is definitely my favorite thing that we have. So this is kind of like just your regular public library. You can get a library card at Candid, and then you can go in and borrow ebooks and audiobooks from our library. So these are like, this is a curated selection of books. So they're very social sector specific, but some of them are just regular books that can apply to social sector work. So a couple of them that I just borrowed recently was like, one was called Smart Brevity. It was all about how like people have a very short attention span and you need to focus your message to get your message across to funders and things like that. Another one was the super communicators. Highly recommend, but feel free to check out our library. These are all free to download. You can download them on Overdrive, on Libby, and use them just like you would any other audiobooks or ebooks. And you can even download them to your Kindle. So now I'm going to talk about our data. So we have two databases. Like I mentioned, GuideStar is the database that has all the information on nonprofits. So I'm going to talk about how you can use your Candid profile to showcase your organization's work. So a Candid profile is essentially, so any nonprofit that's registered with the IRS has a Candid profile, because we pulled that data directly from the IRS information. But that profile is like bare bones. Here's the like address and phone number and things like that. And so we invite nonprofits to go in and claim their Candid profile so that they can really control what is being shown about them. And what's really cool is like we partner with over 200 data partners that pull in that information to use it for, so like you may have seen Facebook fundraisers or Instagram fundraisers. Those are all powered by our data. And so the information that you share on your Candid profile is all being pulled into that stuff. Donor advised funds also use all of our data. And so a lot of them have databases where their donors can search for like which nonprofits they want to give to. So it's important to have your information on your Candid profile up to date so that when donors are searching for who they want to donate to, they find you easily. So Here's a few important things. You really want to showcase your mission and programs on your Candid profile. You want to demonstrate transparency, and you really want to just showcase how your organization is serving the community. So there's 4 seal levels. These are in no way rankings. I just want to make that clear because some people think that we're ranking nonprofits. We're definitely not ranking nonprofits. The seal levels are the amount of information that you're sharing. So the more information that you share, the more donors are likely to click on your profile and be interested. So the bronze level of transparency is like very basic information. You're sharing your mission, you're sharing basic contact information, and that having a bronze level seal of transparency is like the very beginning. The silver level is a little more in depth. You're sharing more about your programs and your logo and things like that. The gold level is where you get a little deeper. You're providing your financial information and leadership information. And then a platinum is like the ultimate, that's where you're sharing impact metrics and how your work is making a difference in the communities that you serve. So setting up your Candid profile is very easy. You go in and claim your profile. It's much easier if you use your work email address, because that way we can verify that you're actually allowed to update your organization's profile. Once you're approved, you can go in and start editing it. So some of the benefits of having a Candid seal of transparency, one is to become more visible to donors, because like I mentioned, we are sharing that information with over 200 data partners. So you really are increasing your visibility. One of our partners is also Apple Pay. So if you do have that bronze seal of transparency, you're eligible to accept donations via Apple Pay. When you fill out that, when you get a seal of transparency, you also get a shareable link. So regardless of whether someone has an account on GuideStar or not, you can share that link with them and they can see that full profile that a lot of nonprofits put in their email signatures on their website or wherever they think is relevant. The best benefit, in my opinion, is that if you're a nonprofit with a budget of under $1 million and you earn a gold seal of transparency, you're actually eligible for a free year of Foundation Directory, which is our prospect research database, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But this is a great benefit. So I can share a link to learn more about that. But yeah, as long as you're a nonprofit with under $1 million in your budget and earn a gold seal, you're eligible for that. So next steps for your Candid profile, you get verified. You can get a bronze seal in under 15 minutes. And then the more information you share, the higher the level of transparency you get. And then you get that link to share with your donors. I can pause for questions there if anyone has any.
If you can share the link, Zahra, or put in the chat for that.
To go for gold?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Hi, this is Annie Zonnevet from Muslims for Progressive Values. So we have the gold seal on, and we're under 1 million. But we were not offered the 1-year membership for the foundation directory. So how do we secure that?
So do you have the 2025 seal?
It's no, not the 2025, the 2024, like in the middle of 2024, or towards
Okay.
the end. So we had our taxes done and all of that is up.
So the 2024, you should have been eligible as of December 31. We just launched a new profile updater, which is going to make it easier to claim that free thing. So if you update I think you just have to put in one new metric for 2025, and then you'll have that 2025 seal. And then I unfortunately can't demonstrate it because we have a budget over 1 million, but it should come up in your sidebar. But also we have phenomenal customer support. So you can just write them an email and show them that you have, or tell them they can look it up, and tell them that you have a gold seal of transparency and let them know that you want to take advantage of that offer.
And then one other question is that you said something about sample documents in the learningcandid.org portal. And then I was wondering, do you have something about, do you have a template for impact profile? Because that is for the platinum. And I really want to strive to get to that level. But if there is if there's a template that we can use, that would be very helpful, if there is one.
I don't know that we have a template for the profile. I can share the Candid profile with you as a template. I can use our shareable link and share that with you so you can see how we've done our platinum seal, if that's helpful.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll go back to the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears and now talk about fundraising. So, 1 second, sorry, there we go. Okay, so Fundraising Foundation Directory is our fundraising database. So it has a whole bunch of data. It has 30 million grants in there from 250,000 foundations. So there's a lot of foundations out there. Only about 10% have websites, so they're hard to find. So it's important to have things like Foundation Directory where you can actually dig into the data and see see foundations that you otherwise wouldn't have found. So with Foundation Directory, you have insights allowing you to create a prospect list, see who works there, and we have a LinkedIn integration. So you can, if they have a LinkedIn, you should be able to click on their LinkedIn and see who you're connected to. And then this data is updated daily, so it should have the most up-to-date grants data as it comes into our system. So I can do a quick demo of Foundation Directory for you. So when you open Foundation Directory, this is what you would see. So you can really filter your search by subject area, geographic focus, population served, org, name, location. There's a whole bunch of additional filters. So just as an example, I filtered for population served as Muslim. So you'll see here we have 16,390 grants. So you can really dig into that data. So if you were to look at one of the grant makers, I picked Doris Duke Foundation for Islamic Art just as an example. So you can go into their profile and see what they're funding, where that money's going, how big the grants are, the average or the most common grant size. And then you can actually go click into some of these grants and see what they were made for and see whether they're a good fit for something that you would be working on. It also shares funding interest areas. Do they do cash grants? Do they do other types of grants? A little bit about them, similar organizations that might be worth considering, whether they have open RFPs. You can learn about their financials. And then here's where they have that who's who, where if they are connected to the LinkedIn, you would be able to click into them. And then this section is important because it pulls from their 990. And a lot of times you don't have contact information for them. So sometimes I've just cold emailed to try to get meetings. And so this is a helpful section on here.
This is what's available in Candid.
Yeah, yes, in Foundation Directory.
In the
So
foundation.
Foundation Directory is our database of foundations and GuideStar is our database of nonprofits. Coming soon, it should all be one thing. That hasn't happened yet, but it's in the works. Soon you should be able to search for all of it in one place. But for now, we have 2 different products.
How is it different from some of the other industry standard? What are your competitions in the market? Who else is doing something?
Not very. There's one that's come up. It's called Impala. It's a little similar, but it's not a nonprofit. So they are raising money from the private sector. So we are the only nonprofit that's actually doing this kind of work and we're like not for profit at all. And what we do is like Impala is providing it for free. And then I believe that there's what we're trying to do is make it accessible to nonprofits. We do have a fee for foundations, but we're trying to make sure that nonprofits can access this information.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, under your GuideStar, you will have something on Olive that you pulled from somewhere other than Olive
From
entry.
from the IRS.
From the IRS, and you're encouraging us to go in there and fine tune it.
Do you want to
Yes.
use that as an example?
Sure. Yeah, I can use
Rowena,
that.
why don't you give?
Oh, Azim, do we want that?
It's public information, so you should know what's
Okay.
out. Is that okay? Or if you're not
Okay.
comfortable
No,
waiting?
no. Opportunity to improve.
Yes, yes.
Opportunity to improve, yes.
Okay, let's go. I was going to use AMCF as an example, but we've got Olive as an example. So there you are, Ravina. Okay, so here is, it looks like no one has claimed this profile yet. This is all information that's collected from the 990. So you could go in there. Is this your organization? You can click, is this your organization? Accept. And then I'm not going to click it because I should not be able to edit your profile. But you can go in there and ask for permission to edit it. And then you would be able to update your profile. So right now there's only this listed as your program, but you would be able to come in here and fill this out and create a more robust profile so that if someone's looking for who to support, they would be easily able to find all of community services, learn about who the population served is, and more about your programs.
Go through the foundation directory link, which I got. Okay.
So you would go to GuideStar to update your Candid profile.
Okay. Guide star.
And then when you actually go in, once you claimed it, it would show up under your managed organizations, and then you would have to just go in and edit that, and then you'll see all the different fields that you would need to edit. So you'll see it'll show, when you click on this, it'll show you what the required fields are, and then you can fill them out based on which level of transparency you want to reach.
Thank you. Thank you. I got enough of an answer and somebody else will know how to do it. So thank you. Has to take too much time. Thank you so much, Zahra.
No problem.
Thank you.
I had a question. I'm currently in a public space, so I have my video out. My name is Nasreen, and I have a nonprofit organization called Amana Recreational Project in Minnesota. And my question was, can we have access to this video so that I can go back later and watch it and just try to do some of the things that you're recommending?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes, because Lisa's recording it.
Yes. Yes. So whether it's today or tomorrow, I'll be sending out the recording to everybody, and then it'll also be posted on the website. So encourage you to share as far and wide as you want as great resources. So thank you for the question.
Thank you. Last question. How do I share my contact information in the chat for you to send it?
I will send it to whatever email you registered with. If you used a different, or if you want me to send it to an additional different email, just put it in the chat, or you can email me. I'll put my email in the chat.
Lisa, this is my fault. I actually shared the Zoom link with the Minnesota Women's Leadership Circle WhatsApp group, and so none of those people are registered, and they popped in here. So sorry.
Okay. So if you want to just email me, and then I'd be happy to add you in, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Glad you could make it.
So Foundation Directory, I'm just going to go back real quick. Foundation Directory is that prospecting research tool that I was talking about. It is a subscription, but we make it accessible at 1,700 locations across the country. So I'm going to copy this link into the chat so you can find a location near you, or you could, if you're eligible for the Go for Gold, you could also get it for free. Can't find the chat. Oh, there we go. But yeah, we have 1,700 locations across the US where you can go in and access Foundation Directory and GuideStar Pro for free to get your prospecting research needs met. We also have training courses at a bunch of these locations because we provided our training materials to our partners. And so some of them do offer Candid's training courses in local communities. And here's that information about the Go for Gold again. So if you earn that gold seal of transparency, you should be able to get that coupon code in the benefits section, as long as you're a nonprofit under $1 million. So foundation directory really is to find funders, help assess whether they're a good fit for your organization, and figure out ways to connect with them and move that conversation forward. Additionally, we do have a couple other resources like the Candid blog and Philanthropy News Chat Digest, where we share news, we share RFPs, job postings, and then we have a phenomenal research team that puts out all kinds of insights by looking at all the data and distilling it to make it easy to understand for regular folks like me who are not living and breathing data all day. But with that, I'm going to stop sharing and answer any additional questions that you all have. And I know that was a lot of information, and our trainers on Candid Learning are probably much more equipped to share phenomenal information about each of these things. I was providing you with a brief overview of all the things that we offer.
I know you had mentioned the templates. Zahra, can you show us how to get there? And
Yeah,
as
let
well as the
me link it
library.
to
I
you.
found a link, but so if you can just kind of show us how to get there would probably be helpful.
Yeah, do you want me to show you or just link you to it?
No, if you can, well, I would like to see how to do it, but that's just me. If anybody else has a suggestion.
Sure.
I think that's always the hardest thing, is that, especially when you have such a large site,
I know.
knowing where to go to access something is like, that's always like, that's half the battle.
I know, it really is. So if you go to learning.candid.org, you'll see there's the trainings, there's all the topics that you can filter by, and then under resources, we have the knowledge base, and then we have that sample documents. So you would click in there to get to the sample documents.
Can you
We also
click so
have,
we can see what it
yeah,
looks
sure.
like?
So here you can see a few samples. So there's the cover letters, there's 3 different templates, there's LOIs, proposal budgets, and then full proposals.
And can you just click on one so we can see
Sure.
what that stuff looks like?
Yeah, so I would just have to download it, but you would just be able to, I don't know if I've shared my full screen, but so you can see what a full proposal would look like. Are you seeing that?
And are these editable?
No, these aren't editable, but they're just a reference so that you would, these are for like people who have never written a proposal before, so that they can see what a proposal would look like, what a cover letter would look like. But we do have classes on proposal writing, on budgeting, on writing a letter of inquiry, and all the things. And then we also have this Ask Us section where we literally answer 20,000 questions a year. So we have excellent librarians that are there to answer all the things.
This is so good. Just want you to know that.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So the Ask Us section, if we want to ask them, they could just tell us where to go then? We could just send them an email, or like Annie, for the 2025 gold seal, she could email them or
Oh,
go.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We
Okay,
have a whole team dedicated to answering these questions.
so is like a chat box or how, submit a question? Okay.
Yeah, we have a chat box. I'm trying to remember the hours. I think it's like 9 to 5, Monday to Wednesday Eastern. But we also have submit a question, or we have the customer success email line. So I would just go through this link right here.
Okay.
Zahra, I have, I don't know, I think I want you to talk a little bit more about this, but I remember when I had first started my nonprofit, because we were so new to the foundation landscape, having this seal of approval actually helped other funders look at us and kind of, increase that trust factor. And given what's happening right now with like the current administration and who knows what else in our nonprofit sector. Can you talk a little bit more about like why this seal is like so important to get like all our ducks in a row for foundations and funders to give to our organizations?
So I think what you shared is exactly right. It is that like, it's like, okay, they are transparent. They're showing all the things that they're doing. We're not, I in no way want to say that we are verifying a nonprofit or anything, but it does show that you are committed to transparency and you're presenting all the work that you're doing. But I think you're right. A lot of people do think that it is this like stamp of approval. And I know that a lot of individual donors, not just foundations, look at GuideStar, and that's how they make their funding decisions, whether they're involved in donor advised funds or just individuals. I met someone the other day and they were asking what I do, and I was trying to explain all the things that Candid does. And I was like, oh, like Facebook fundraisers. And then I said GuideStar, and they were like, oh, wait, GuideStar is part of Candid. I was like, yeah, and they were like, oh, that's how we teach our kids about philanthropy, is like they go through GuideStar to find nonprofits that they want to donate to each year. And so there's a lot of eyes there. And so the more information that you have on there, the more likely you are to be found by by a foundation or by an individual who would be interested in funding the work that you're doing.
And we use it to vet the organizations that, that we look into. Like, that's the first place we go. We check out your 990, and we actually had an example. We had someone that was nominated for funding, and we went on there and we couldn't find them on, GuideStar. And we're like, maybe they're part of a, fiscal sponsorship. Like, we couldn't figure out why, they were saying were nonprofit, but we couldn't find their EIN number. And it turned out, then we got back to them, we're like, we can't find it, and their accountant or legal team hadn't filed their nonprofit status correctly. And so we found that out through this process, and they were able to go back and correct it. But, and then they thanked us. They're like, we didn't realize that, that it wasn't done correctly. It's because we, as a community foundation, before we send out, any funding or checks to any organization, we do that process, and we do it through GuideStar, right? And we make sure that everything is on the up and up. And the way that the systems are working and going to be, like, when you bring up a name of a nonprofit, you'll be able to see all of the information that's on GuideStar within our system, right? So what I'm saying is it's gonna be used more and more. So it really helps your organization if you're on these platforms in that gold or platinum, like level, then, you're putting yourself out in front of donors as well. So, and I know that's what we're all trying to do as nonprofits, is make sure we get the funding for our organization. So I think this is so helpful. Zahra, can you tell us how much an actual membership, do you know how much it costs? I know there's different levels, but I know it's not cheap
For
Foundation Directory.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I don't usually tell nonprofits to buy a subscription.
Right. But it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. It's like 2,000-ish. I will say that it's going to change in the coming months. So yeah.
I'm just saying there's a lot of value in just this workshop to just get that. And, our goal is to have more Muslim nonprofits on there that can be funded and, have access to resources. So thank you for this information.
Yeah, any idea of how many views are on like the Candid on the that section for the seals?
So we have more than 10 million users of GuideStar, and that's just to guidestar.org. That's not counting like who is accessing it through our data partners. So I imagine the reach is much more, but yeah, we have 10 million users of GuideStar.
That's a large number.
Hi, I don't know how to raise my hand on here. I can't find the 981 I just talked. I had a question. I am very much a new nonprofit organization. I have been doing the work in my community for over 3 years now, but we just became a nonprofit and we don't have any kind of funding or any documentation. What advice do you have for me to become more visible? I'm guessing that that's not gonna, it might kind of work against me in terms of transparency, or is it not? I guess is a question.
Well, so to claim a seal, you don't have to necessarily, I mean, are you a registered 501c3?
Yes.
So that's really all you need to claim a seal of transparency. You don't have to have a bunch of documentation. This actually might help because you don't have to have a robust like website and things. You can just fill out all the fields on the profile itself, and that way that is your little one sheet that you can share with funders. And it's like a standardized format. You can share that link to all the people and all the things. And so I think you can still boost your visibility regardless of whether you have all that documentation or not. And then I would highly recommend our trainings. They're excellent. Our trainers are engaging. They're so qualified, and they really walk you through all the steps of becoming a more robust fundraiser and nonprofiteer.
I have another.
Thank you.
Like we've been looking for some place for Olive to get that stamp of approval or charity certification or something. And I was asked to upload our information to Charity Navigator, I think. And now how does that compare or differ from what Candid is? Are they same, similar? This is a new area for me.
Honestly, I don't want to speak to it because I don't know enough about Charity Navigator. I don't know whether they have data partners. I don't know where their information goes, so I'm not entirely sure.
Mhm.
But Candid itself, Zahra, this is it's free, right? It's
It's
already
inside of the
there. So, you don't have to pay anything for it. You can just, it is there. Anybody wants to look on GuideStar, they will find the information. So it's
Okay.
to a nonprofit's benefit, correct? To at least have that
it's
information
absolutely
accurate, there's
free.
no charge.
Yeah.
We will definitely go in and add more stuff to it. Thank you for checking into it.
Anybody else have any questions or want Zahra to clarify or go over any other aspects of the Candid, like humongous platform?
For the platinum one, can you tell us, or, maybe show us what the questions are so we can prepare, and like the ones that are on the goal can maybe, what information we need to, put in to have that platinum level?
Yeah.
Or if you know somebody who is a platinum, maybe you can just show that what it would look like a
Yeah,
finished
let
thing.
me show you. So I'll share this link in the chat also. But this shows what exactly you need for each of the seals. So for bronze, you need your mission and contact details, donation information, so like where to donate to, and leadership information. For silver seal, you need the program information plus everything in bronze. For gold, you need a audited financial report or 990 leader demographics plus everything in silver. And then for platinum, you need board demographics and one metric from the previous year plus everything in gold. I will say for demographics, you can say decline to state. You're never obligated to state anyone's demographics if you don't feel comfortable doing so. And I can share this link in the chat so that you have it broken down by seal level.
Zahra, is there a reason they're asking that question? Because I mean, I know it is a industry-wide thing to have diverse boards because most boards are not diverse and don't represent the communities that they serve. And, organizations that represent communities, they're often not diverse in the other way where it's all the same, you know what I mean? They're people of color and women, but it's all, you know what I mean? They maybe don't have like, a man on the board or whatever. So does that work against you, or is it just having the demographic there, just putting up your demographics? That's what they're looking at and not how diverse you are.
So it really depends on who's looking. We are not looking to see how diverse you are, but it does. So some organizations want to look to see whether you're BIPOC led or something else. So that's why we're asking that demographic data, is because a lot of funders are interested in it. They want to see whether there's a match between who is leading an organization and who who is being served, things like that. So it's really just, we're not judging either way, but it's really just informative.
Right. So even if you put up something, even if it's maybe, if you have 5 board members and 2 of them are not known, as long as you have it up there for the ones you do have,
Yeah.
that qualifies for having board demographic on there.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Bye, Annie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Well, I guess before everybody else hops off, let me just share the screen
Lisa-
briefly. Well,
Lisa, if you're left at the end, I have one question about my payment, my membership. Or I can talk to you out of it.
yeah, let me just share and tell us upcoming program and our little survey before everybody leaves.
Do you want to go ahead and turn off the recording then?
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to just include these upcoming programs.
Okay, yes, please.
So we are upcoming programs, and thank you for joining. End of this month on the 27th, we will be having a mastermind session. The topic will be how to make our spaces more accessible. And we will be joined with a Minnesota Deaf Muslim community, their director and assistant director to help to be on the hot seat. And then after that, in March, we are honored to have some of the individuals here today, all of Community Services, discussing senior matters, embracing aging in your communities. And that will be on Wednesday, March 19th. So we'd love for you to join. Do you want to know more about us? Follow us on social media. You can learn and join our website. You can also contact us for a chat. Happy to talk with you. I'll drop in the chat, but here's just a short survey. And also, we love to thank you so much for attending. It's just a picture from the Orange County Association of Fundraising Professional, their NPD, National Philanthropy Day last year. So thank you so much. And now I will stop recording.